So chemical tests to distinguish between functional groups. You have carboxylic acid in all these cases here, as you can see. Carboxylic acid versus aldehyde, if you see, it's sodium bicarbonate test. Carboxylic acid versus alcohol, if you see, it's again sodium bicarbonate test. Carboxylic acid versus phenol, you see, it's sodium bicarbonate test. Carboxylic acid versus ether, you see, again it is sodium bicarbonate. Again, if you see, carboxylic acid versus ketone, this is also sodium bicarbonate test. So from this you can clearly understand what exactly it means. That is, when carboxylic acid is there with aldehyde, with ketone, with alcohol, phenol and ether, it's always the sodium bicarbonate test, where carboxylic acid always has an effervescence of carbon dioxide, a brisk bubbling, whereas aldehyde, alcohol, phenol, ether, ketone, all of them have no effervescence. So the thing to note is here none of them have it, no like that, whereas carboxylic acid is the one who's showing the effervescence of carbon dioxide. Therefore, wherever carboxylic acid is there, always go for the sodium bicarbonate test, wherein you get the effervescence of carbon dioxide. The next case is that you can see phenol here. Okay, there's one exception shown here, that is aldehyde versus phenol. We are using neutral filling test. In the other cases, wherever you have phenol, there all you are usually using ferric chloride test, if you can see. Yeah, and also in the first case, ketone versus phenol. Okay, here you can see ketone has no color change. In the second case, again, if you have alcohol versus phenol, here also no color change. Here, phenol versus ether, again, no color change for ether. So like this, phenol is always violet or blue or green in color, whereas ketone, alcohol, ether, all of them are having no color change. But in this case, where aldehyde is versus phenol, you can see natural filling test is being used, and aldehyde always gives a brick red precipitate, whereas phenol shows or gives no precipitate. This is to be noted. And the remaining ones, aldehyde versus alcohol, the test is Tollens test, okay, reagent test or simply test, or even you can say the silver mirror test, right? That is aldehyde. In case of aldehyde, silver mirror is formed. Alcohol, no silver mirror is formed. So if you can see from all these which I have mentioned here, there's only one silver mirror test or Tollens test mentioned. Is there anyone else mentioned? No. So it clearly means that it's the one which separates aldehyde from alcohol. Okay, we can differentiate between them easily. Now aldehyde versus ether is there. Aldehyde is orange or yellow precipitate, while ether gives no precipitate. Here also orange or yellow precipitate, but ketone gives no precipitate. So ketone and ether gives no precipitate to aldehyde for this 2,4-DNP test. Okay, then you can see iodoform test 4CH3CO minus. Yeah, is it minus? No, it is a bond, right? Yeah. What does this show here? It's something like this. Okay, this is what is shown here. Now this is ketone. Okay, ketone. Clear? Yeah, no worries. Okay, ketone. And as you can see here, yellow precipitate of CHI3, and here no yellow precipitate in case of alcohol. So when you talk about iodoform test, for this particular ketone, you have a CH3CO and then a single bond, wherein whoever it is, a group may attach. Okay, but one side is CH3. In that situation, yellow precipitate of CHI3, here alcohol, no precipitate. Yes, this is ketone, orange or yellow precipitate, ether will have no precipitate. Alcohol versus phenol, again remember, always phenol is violet or blue or green color, while alcohol shows no color change. Ether shows no color change. Yes or no? And even ketone shows no color change. So this is the whole summary part of this particular chemical test to distinguish between functional groups. If you can see, this is always to be noted that NaHCO3 test, carboxylic acid gives carbon dioxide. Failing test, aldehydes give brick red precipitate. Sodium metal test, alcohols give which gas? Did we actually see sodium metal test gives hydrogen gas, whereas ether has no effervescence. Now 2,4-DNP test. In this case, carbonyl compounds give precipitate. Then ferric chloride test, phenols give colored complexes. Yeah, so always violet, blue or green color. Tollens test, aldehydes give silver mirror. And iodoform test, methyl ketones give CHI3 precipitate. That's all, and thank you.